AJ came out and immediately started jabbing to the body. He used his feints to draw out Francis's reaction to the jab. Francis was looking to either parry the jab or counter with a left hook. The first issue was that Francis was reacting to everything, including the feints. Because AJ was mixing up his targets to the head and body, it was difficult for Francis to place the counter left hook properly. Struggling to deal with the jab, Francis switched to southpaw, where he hoped to be able to more easily parry it. This is a common MMA overcorrection because in that sport, opponents often lose their jab in the open stance. AJ was prepared though, and simply feinted his jab to draw out the parry, opening the lane for his mechanically perfect straight right hand. When Francis returned to orthodox, AJ was happy to keep feinting his jab and throwing it to the body. Francis tried to adjust by jabbing with AJ, a game that AJ was more than happy to play because he knew that his jab would be better. Francis lacked the subtlety in positioning and timing to land his jab, and his lazy jabs from too far away opened him up to counters. Tired of AJ being just out of range, Francis started stepping in with his jab, but this just allowed AJ to counter the jab with even more force, catching Francis running forward onto his cross counter. Knowing that Francis's response was just to jab with him, AJ just needed to feint like he was dropping down for another jab to the body. This drew out the lead hand, allowing him to come over top of it with one final punch. Israil Madrimov won his first world title by building off the success of his body jab. He was happy to land it to the chest or arms if it meant he could pin Kurbanov against the ropes. Kurbanov started keeping the lead arm closer to his body in a Philly shell. He tried to bring his right arm down to close the gap, but Madrimov's accuracy still let him sneak it through. As Madrimov changes levels to jab the body, Kurbanov goes into the Philly shell. Rather than trying to jab through the guard, he uses his jab just to post on Kurbanov's chest. This prevents Kurbanov from moving into clinch and pins him against the ropes. This gives Madrimov the space to arc an overhand right that travels over top of the lead shoulder of the Philly shell.
Neri's last-ditch effort came in the 5th round when he decided to just put up his guard and walk into the pocket, hoping to force another inside exchange to reproduce his knockdown in the 1st. He got a little frustrated with Inoue shoving him, but eventually he got up the inside fight he wanted. But Inoue was ready and crafted a more careful combination up close this time. After countering Neri's uppercut with a left hook, Inoue dropped his level down to make Neri expect a left hook to the liver. When Neri dropped his elbow to block it, Inoue instead brought the left hook upstairs. Having stripped Neri of his last hope of victory, the knockout was inevitable. Inoue backed Neri up to the ropes with his jab, and when Neri tried to punch his way off the ropes with a wide body shot, Inoue countered with a short uppercut that raised his head up for a follow-up right hand that sealed the finish.
Francis has Tyson trapped in the corner. Tyson tries to duck down and wrap Francis up in a clinch to escape. He brings his head up to the left shoulder, wraps over the right arm, and tries to dig his left inside for an underhook. But Francis quickly brings his left arm inside to frame, which denies Tyson the clinch and lets Francis maintain space. He unsuccessfully tries to sneak an uppercut into that space, but more importantly, he brings his frame up to the head to become a collar tie. He uses that control of the head to whip a right hook around before Tyson can push off to finally escape. Whenever Tyson tried to duck into the clinch, Francis would look to control his head. Where the head goes, the body follows. He constantly framed Tyson off, refusing attempts to smother and giving himself space to land. Tyson expected to be able to use the clinch to tire Francis out and give himself a chance for respite when he needed it. It was supposed to be a safety valve. Instead, Francis regularly prevented Tyson from getting the control positions he desired. Tyson is used to bullying his opponents in the clinch, but with Francis, it was him who was getting tossed around. Tyson normally sneaks in a lot of shots in the clinch, but Francis's ability to get to advantageous positions meant he was the one landing the punches up close. Hopefully, this fight can serve as a lesson for many modern boxers who have largely eschewed learning the craft of the clinch and inside fighting.
Bellew slips his head to the left as he moves forward with his right hand. Then he rolls to the right to avoid the counter jab as he exits. Just a round later, the same sequence. Bellew again looks to slip outside and throw his right hand, but the distance is off, so he looks to roll to the right to exit again. But this time, Usyk meets him with a left hook.
Así es, y con una pegada que, bueno, es de verdad demoledora. Bueno, está haciendo añicos el rostro de su adversario, y también creo yo que el ánimo.
Gonzalez touches the guard to convince his opponent to keep it raised up, then fires a long right hand to the body underneath it. The body shot hunches him over, opening up the head for Gonzalez's jab. He keeps his jab out front to shorten the distance it needs to travel to strike again, which lets him preemptively counter as soon as he sees his opponent loading up the right hand. Gonzalez hops back, letting his opponent fall forward onto a left hook that punishes the telegraphed right hand. He leans back away from the right, and then while shifting his weight back onto his lead leg, he shoots out a quick right hand. This triggers an expected response, which Gonzalez rolls underneath. He uses the opening created by his opponent's missed punch to hop to a very advantageous angle, forcing his opponent to turn to face him. From this angle, Gonzalez throws a right hand that barely misses, but it's no problem. He seamlessly transfers the weight he'd loaded up onto his lead leg into a devastating uppercut to the body. The natural response to this is to pin your elbow against your side, but this just opens up the head to the left hook.